From the perfect game ball to the NBA's basketball that's made of plastic, that even made Dirk Nowitzki's hands bleed, and the ball that never felt right for the players. Eddie Curry claimed that the ball never left his hand the same way, and he said that it stuck to his middle finger. The ball that NBA claimed to be the optimal basketball doesn't seem so optimal to me. Why would the NBA ever add a basketball that injured the players? The new Spalding basketball was introduced into the NBA back in 2006 and was not what the NBA stars had hoped for. The new basketball was made out of microfiber material, which made it feel more like plastic than leather, causing players' hands to crack and bleed. Quite the surprise for the players. And if that wasn't enough, the ball even became incredibly slippery from all the sweat, making it difficult for the players to control. Steve Nash even said, "The ball just tears my fingers apart." And Shaquille O'Neal of the Miami Heat called it, quote, terrible, and compared it to a cheap toy store ball. It wasn't just Nash who had issues with the new ball. He predicted that shooting percentages would go down and turnovers would go up because of the ball's poor design. Despite the backlash, the NBA announced in June of 2006 that it was the first change to the ball in over 35 years, and only the second change in 60 seasons. The redesign was a massive controversy in the league, and fans and players were not happy with the change. The ball was so terrible that it even cut the players' hands, making them bleed. When Dirk Nowitzki was playing with the basketball during the playoffs, he felt the ball just tearing his skin apart. He continued to use the new basketball, and during the fourth quarter of the game, he suffered a cut on his non-shooting hand. The cut was deep enough to cause bleeding, and Nowitzki had to leave the game to receive medical attention. These incidents caused a lot of controversy and criticism of the new basketball. Some players and coaches argued that the ball was too different from the traditional leather basketballs and that it was causing injuries and poor performance. David Stern, the commissioner of the NBA, stated that the new ball was, quote, the best basketball for the best players in the world. However, the new ball was widely criticized by the players, the coaches, and fans, who felt that it was too slippery and difficult to handle. After just 1 month of use, the NBA announced that it would be switching back to the previous ball design because of concerns over safety. Despite the backlash, David Stern's statement about the new ball being the, quote, best basketball for the best players just shows his commitment to improving the game. In response to the backlash, the NBA decided to switch back to the traditional leather basketballs for the remainder of the NBA Finals. The league also promised to conduct more testing and research before introducing new basketballs in the future. Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, took matters into his own hands. Mark had physicists from the University of Texas Arlington test just how the new balls were different from the old ones. Unsurprisingly, the results confirmed that the ball contained both microfiber material and dirt and became extremely slippery when exposed to even the slightest amount of moisture. The physicists also found that the new ball bounced 5 to 8% less than the old one. Well, no wonder that the players complained about the ball. And finally, the NBA had enough with this new ball and brought back the traditional leather ball, and Spalding would later offer refunds to whoever purchased the new ball. Again, in 2016, Spalding, the official basketball supplier of the NBA at the time, made a change to their basketballs that once again caused a lot of controversy. The new basketballs had a different texture and grip, which made them harder to handle for the players. Many of the players complained that the texture of the new basketballs was slippery and caused them to lose control of the ball more often. This not only affected their performance on the court, but it also posed a risk of injury. Despite the players' concerns, the NBA continued to use the new basketballs for the first few months of the season. However, as more and more players started to experience blisters, cuts, and even bleeding on their hands from using the new basketballs, the NBA had to take action. Even Lebron James, one of the best players in the NBA, had to sit out a game because of blisters on his hands caused by the ball. If this isn't a massive wake-up call for the NBA, I don't know what is. They eventually switched back to the old basketballs, which the players were familiar with. But the controversy didn't end there. Some players, such as Golden State Warriors' Stephen Curry, argued that switching back to the old basketballs would also be a problem. The players claimed that the old basketballs were too dead and didn't have enough bounce, making it harder to shoot from long range. The NBA eventually introduced a new basketball for the 2018-2019 season. This new basketball had a similar texture and grip to the old basketballs, but with some improvements that addressed the concerns of both players and fans. Finally, the NBA gave the players what they asked for: I bet you've seen the Airless basketball showcased at the 2023 Slam Dunk Contest. This will soon be the future of the NBA's basketballs. But with a ball fully 3D printed, the NBA might face some of the previous challenges they had with their basketballs. Some players fear that the ball will be damaging to their hands and refuse to use the ball before more testing has been done. And I don't blame them. I guess only time can tell when this new ball will be added to the game. From the microfiber basketball that made players' hands bleed to the slippery ball that caused blisters and cuts, the NBA has gone through its fair share of controversial basketballs. But it seems like the NBA has finally found the perfect ball for the players after multiple failed attempts to create the world's best basketball. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe for more content like this.